Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the same morning, actually. I've just uploaded the Grixis video, and you might or might not be already watching that one, and we are now going to play Blue-White Control with a couple of new cards here. So in the main board, we are not playing any sweepers whatsoever, due to the fact that we have Blast Zone as part of our mana base now, which is pretty cool. We're also playing Teferi, although what's going on with the artwork here? Although I'm not sure if it's actually a main boardable card or if we have to play it in the sideboard. We'll see that or how that turns out. I've reduced our mana requirements in the main board a little bit to Remands here to fill the gap between our 1 mana spells and everything that comes later. On the one hand, of course, Remand is just pretty good against Faithless Looting, especially, and all the cards that have flashback from the graveyard. And it's also pretty good in the control mirror. But on the other hand, we're playing 6 colorless spells now, which, you know, makes it a little harder to get all these mana requirements really online. Absorb could also be something that just not doable in the main board. So we'll figure that one out. Actually quite sure that Absorb might be a problem. And then there's Dovin's Veto in the sideboard, as well as a couple of other cards as Supreme Verdict when we're playing against creature decks. So yeah, let's just jump into the league here with Blue-White Control. Probably also going to play the Modern Challenge today. We'll see about that. That's the league that you just watched, and we're going to join. By the way, it's a real hustle to get all these cards from War of the Spark together. Most of the big traders don't have them yet, or are completely sold out all of the time. Therefore, I'm happy to bring you although it's a little bit more costly for me, I'm happy to bring you the action with the new cards pretty early here. And we'll see where it leads us. So with the new configuration, it's also possible that because Teferi here on 3 mana is so strong in the control matchup, it's possible that we don't even want to play Absorb or Counterspell here whatsoever and just go with with Sweepers main, at least 2, probably Supreme Verdicts, or we could of course also just go with Termini. But we'll see about that. And then sideboard Celestial Purge mainly there against all the red prison decks that are running around right now, and against Phoenix, because basically kills everything in the Phoenix deck. Yep. And I have to say, if Teferi, if this Teferi turns out to be actually a good card in Modern, then there's almost no way around Blue-White anymore, because you have so many edges in so many matchups, and you know, he also gets rid of artifacts, creatures, and enchantments, at least for a turn, so you're getting a little bit of tempo, you're getting a little bit of card advantage. Does this count as a misprint? Do I get extra value out of this? Hopefully it's not like this in the actual game that we're going to play. Two Swings of Revelation, certainly not where we want to be, generally speaking. And we're playing against. Something that's red. Hopefully a prison deck here. Yeah, it looks to be prison deck. Detention Sphere is good as soon as we get hold of a white source. Detention Sphere. So almost, I was gonna say we almost need a remand here already. Because if we're getting hit, like if we don't get hit by a Blood Moon turn 3, then we might be good. But if we're getting hit by Blood Moon here, then we will have a hard time finding what we need. Although Graven Cairns, okay. I think our opponent's playing something completely different here. Simian Spirit Guide. And of course, one has to say, in this matchup, probably Rick's control would have been better. I would be surprised if he attacks here. We're going after the Lava Core Reaches. See, sorry. Either this was a big mistake, what he just did, or he wanted to make sure that he's actually able to play some sort of Chandra here. Okay. Well, that's Simian's pretty good. Interesting. So if he doesn't cost anything, then we're going to go with Sphinx Revelation for 1. Not because we want to get rid of it, just because I want to have access to Teferi. Bounce that Dog Confident, if possible. Alright, Snapcast Mage. Do not understand what's going on here. There is a Blood Moon. Alright. So by now, the only card that we cannot play on the Blood Moon is, or would be, so the thing is, I think I'm gonna go for Remand. He could have additional copies of Lightning Bolt, of course. But if that were to be the case, then he would have to do that before blockers, and we could have flashed in on the Snapcaster. Yeah, we just want to have the draw since we already have the Remand in our graveyard and activated. And we get another one, which is pretty nice. So if he's gonna bait us with a Spirit Guide here again, then I'm not gonna play the Remand, but just let it resolve, so that we can get down our Teferi and hold up Remand next turn. Then he would need an additional Alesha. Sure. There is a Dark Confidant in his graveyard. One could say I think I'm gonna rather look for removal spells here. That's not really necessary right now. Another Remand, okay. Flooded Strand is quite nice. Lesha has first strike though. I think we want to get rid of her, if possible. I'm not going to, well, there it's 12 life. If they play a Goblin Rebel Master, that might get over to Teferi, but then we swing back for 6. And we also have a lot of card advantage in our hands. Target play discards a card. Sure. Not the Dark Confidant. Actually, I don't think they are. Oh, blast zone. Ooh. Well, drawing land here is pretty good, because now we can just go and attack. If he blocks our Snapcaster Mage, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's fine as well. He's definitely dead next turn if he doesn't block. Okay. Good job. What was that though? Avalanche Riders. Oh my god. So. Teferi is still fine because of Blood Moon and that other pesky stuff. Absorb we probably don't need, it's a little bit too much of mana requirement there. Probably want timely reinforcements because they are playing a couple of creatures, and I think I'm good with this. Might actually also be that they are going to take out the Blood Moons, despite the fact that with our Blast Zone, Blood Moon of course becomes a little better against us. But I also think 6 basics is actually where you want to be with any control deck. Either that's the utmost you can afford to not have utility lands in one. This is not going to be a keep, but this could very well be. I'm going to keep, and I think I'm going to shove the Snapcaster Mage here. Of course, if they're starting out with Inquisitions and stuff again, then that decision might end up being worse. But Teferi is still a card like we want to test out and stuff, so that is still alright. Alright. So there is going to be a Dark Confidant on turn 2, I guess, which will meet our Celestial Perch. One more mana, and it would be a little better here, but we're not going to give him the card draw, since we don't know if he's actually looking for lands or whatever he needs. Okay, that is an interesting inclusion. So whenever dies, okay. Teferi time? Might be Teferi time, guys. Could also just go with time reinforcements, but I actually think like, what's the worst thing that can happen to us here? I assume it to be Avalanche Riders, which could be really, really annoying. And therefore I'm going to go with a Hallowed Fountain, so that even if he kills that, we still have both. Alright, Teferi time. And we also draw a card for our trouble, which is pretty cool. So just Glacial Fortress, nice pickup. Well, main board we're actually not playing any sorceries, but with timely reinforcements, maybe it's actually time to give timely reinforcements a chance in the main board. Oh, triple blue. Alright. That is cool, that is cool. So, we have a couple of options here, right? So we could, in theory, let him attack and go with instant speed timely reinforcements, which is pretty cool. But I don't think that we're going to do that because actually, why not? Why the hell not? Unless he plays the Liliana first, then we're not going to do that. Yeah, I like that. Like Teferi bouncing something, and then next turn ticking up, and you have timed reinforcements at instant speed at your disposal. That's just really insane. He knows about our timely reinforcements, right? Are we gonna do it? Gonna triple block, and if he does have 2 removal spells, then so be it, but that will also just be his turn. Also, when is actually the 1st of May is on Wednesday. Huh. That's unfortunate. But okay. Of course, if we hadn't been so greedy, we could have prevented that from happening, but so be it. Yep, can't do so well, baby doll. Condemn, certainly not the worst card. Another Flooded Shrine as well. Don't really need double white, so I'm just gonna fetch for a 3rd blue source here. But by now, We actually don't need any more lands. A little bit too many of those. I'm gonna let Liliana resolve if he was to play it. Because of the condemn. Of course, Oust might be better here. Not necessarily though. We're going with another way. So many lands. Insane. It's not even that good. Like, what are you gonna do? But we're gonna take the card advantage here. Hope that would draw another card that actually does something. And goodbye. Teferi, yes. Thank you. Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's draw a card. Our opponent's also super slow. It's like taking so much time. Alright. Good games then. Back in just a second. And we're back. So another consideration here would be to actually play this in Aspa colors. Of course, Blast Zone and Field Ruin would have to go out then, but there we could actually profit off that Teferi more frequently than we do in Blue-White. But we'll see where we end up going. So we're going to keep. Always unpleasant to see an Arbor Elf hitting the battlefield on turn 1. I don't believe like with blue it's probably not gonna be Panza. I'm not gonna take a risk here and go with the Flooded Strand first. Yeah, you know, like turn 2 having like 5 mana and a Jace on the battlefield is insane, of course. But at least here you can interact with that Shayar Valve and also with the Utopia Sprawl. Something that you cannot do with many decks. But it's funny how many times we're playing against like these all in cobble something together strategies. Blast Zone. Actually interesting. Blast Zone is gonna do us a good solid at some point. But it's quite slow. We need 4 mana for it to be of any use. So 2 more turns and we somehow have to pressure that Jace. He even gets to set up his draws. It's like, oh, this is not looking good for us. Not gonna lie. Opponent, please play something. Of course, explosives would be better here, but we also probably wouldn't pack it on game 1. Please more 1-drops. We're gonna kill all of them. All of them at once. Yeah, cursor is a little bit annoying. Spell Quillers. Playing all the annoying stuff. It's gonna draw 3 cards, which means that he actually does have access to that Spellcaller, but playing Snapcaster Mage here doesn't make any sense as well because of the Courser. If we had been on the play, then the Blast Zone would actually be able to save our asses here. but just how it stands right now, don't really believe it does. Thalia as well. Our opponent's playing some weird shit. So obviously, Kiora, is that the new one or the old one? That's the old one. Yeah, we're super dead here. Blossom was one turn too late. And I guess our opponent is gonna set up his top deck so that he can generate card advantage with that cursor. But like we cannot beat a Kiora here. But we also haven't really done anything, right? If he had been on the play, had Remand, and then went into the blast zone at some point. He's probably playing doubling season, I would assume. Doesn't have access to blue anymore. Okay. Don't want to actually show the blast zone there. Our very own Jace here is alright, but not great. Probably want to have Dovin's Veto. And do not want to have... well... they're playing 2-drops as well. Let's see. So I like Teferi in this matchup again, because they probably board in counter spells. Just cut a little bit on the top end of things here, and then we'll wiggle our way into the game. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Keep. So this time we have a blast zone on turn 4, hopefully, if we draw another land. Before that we also have the tension sphere, so that we can deal with the turn 3 or turn 2 Jace. Alright, opponent kept 5, but a hand like this, that is really a combo deck. Alright. Perfect. So if nothing really bad happens here on turn 2, which I don't hope, because this is a little weaker start than having an Ogre Elf and Utopia Sprawl. Okay. He does not attack. Well, that can only mean that he does have a counterspell indeed. But I'm gonna... So we have the Blast Zone next turn anyway. But he probably does have... I think we do nothing here. Teferi will just run into a negate. And that won't help us. I would rather try to get an opt into a remand if he does anything, and then go Blast Zone the turn after. Alright, this time he attacks. Jace. This is just annoying. Put to the bottom. Sure. So, let's see. I think we still want to go with the Blast Zone plan. Just play a Snapcaster Mage here to pressure the Jace. And he doesn't have access to white up until now, so Spell Clear isn't a thing. So pretty aggressive to play it this way into our... there's Dovin's Veto. That is too bad. So I'm nonetheless thinking right now that we just Detention Sphere the Jace. Although that may cost us some... no. Yes. And the reason is that we have Teferi and Dovin's Veto up next turn. We could also just play... The good thing is our Teferi also balances our own Snapcaster Mage, which is pretty nice. Of course, the tensions here would have also gotten rid of both noble hierarchs, therefore. Hmm. 6 mana? Alright, just a walking this time. That is alright. So we cannot get our blast zone counters lower. And also we have Dovin's Veto, which of course gets countered by a Spell Queller. So we're just gonna do this now. Kill those 2 bubbles. Restricts his mana ability a little bit. See what he does in terms of that Walking Ballista. Of course, then Teferi is not super great right now. Blue, yep, I would have imagined. We're gonna block since we don't really have a good play here anyway against that. Joke. All right. So our Teferi can actually, I was gonna say bounce, choke. And then we could have Dovin's Veto. Two turns from now, I guess. So we're gonna kill the Walking Ballista here. The choke is also stifling his own breeding pool, so that's why that's a little bit awkward. What do you have, friend? So naturally, we would like to set up a board state where we could actually, okay. That's not too bad, actually. Nonetheless, I'm gonna bounce the Noble Hierarch first here. And then We're gonna up the Teferi as far as we can. It's also got a Teferi. Okay. I'm actually quite okay with that. So let's see if he is actually willing. Alright, he is. Arbor Elf. Makes sense. So I don't know how they interact with each other. I assume that... I actually don't know. So we could stifle his mana ability completely, right? We could go after that one, but don't know how much sense it makes. Could also go after choke, but I don't want to do that. He does have the Noble Hierarch, of course, up for grabbing, so our Teferi is probably going to die. Which means we need to go after choke. So our opponent is playing a Super Friends deck, and we have Dovin's Veto in our hand, which he can't interact with, but we can't fucking play it because of all the shit he's doing with our lands. Which is super annoying. Is this a fucking joke? Oh my goodness. What a fucking shithole. It costs 3. So our opponent does not have a good deck here. Just really, really fucked up. Like, it does so many things at once. Like, you're playing Talia, all these, then you're playing Choke and blue mana, anti-synergies left and right. So I feel like our Teferi is gonna bounce our own detention sphere. Potentially. Alright. So we do have Teferi. Which could be bouncing Detention Sphere. Currently we don't really have the issue with Choke though. Not sure with which Teferi we have an issue, but our opponent probably, like, he has one card in hand, and I'm almost certain that it is in fact a Spell Queller. And if it were to be a Spell Queller, which of course you can't cast unless we sacrifice the Teferi here, which is also super annoying. So I guess if we take up and our opponent does have a Teferi, we can only cast sorceries during their turn, but we can't play instants, which is really weird. So probably need to go after something here though. I think we need to go after Teferi here, because he can bounce our Detention Sphere and then we just have to replay it. And we also can't play counters. We need another Blast Zone. That's what we really need. So without another Detention Sphere, we are not going to get rid of Choke anymore. Oh man. That's just sad. Walking Ballista. That's definitely Walking Ballista. And that's fine. Our opponent's not going to win anything with this deck. Because it's just a bad deck. Also, I think with Grixis we would have destroyed him. For better or for worse. I was actually thinking about a white splash in Grixis, just so we can afford cards like Kaya, etc. But that's also pretty ugly. Here's the problem with Blast Zone. And apparently our opponent is playing Grixis Phoenix. Man, is it Phoenix? So Blast Zone is actually only going to be good against both Thing in the Ice and Pyromancer Ascension. So if he flips Thing in the Ice here, which I'm sure he does, because it's a retarded card. Actually, Thing in the Ice by itself is fine. It's not a retarded card. One cannot say that. It is Mana of Foes and Faithless Bleeding. That is not fine. So flipping Thing on turn 2 would already be crazy to beat for most decks. But there's of course also an Arclight Phoenix come around. So we will probably survive a little bit against that Arclight Phoenix, but for the most part, we could have also condemned the Phoenix and hoped for better days. Next turn we have Jace to bounce the Phoenix. We're already down to 12. So this is interesting. We could just play Teferi here instead of Jace. Because he wouldn't be able to kill it in our turn, right? And then he needs to replay the Phoenix or have a turn where he can redeploy it from his graveyard. I actually like that, especially because we can also draw potentially a Path to Exile or another Condemn. Or Spell Snare. Spell Snare would also be pretty good. Another Teferi. Problem is that like the tugging of Teferi against Phoenix doesn't really do anything. So if he doesn't have a land source here, and he has to go with Faithless. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is so ugly. They're playing Noxious Revival now as well. Alright. So I guess this turn is a Cryptic Command turn to set things up. the only good thing here is we actually don't need to... Well, never mind. I think I'm gonna tap bounce. I don't want the thing in the eyes to kill our thing right now, and he might or might not have another land. Probably does have another land, of course. But then he will be able to do it anyway. Return permanent and tap creatures. Because this would require us to spend 2 and tap, and then 4 and tap. Okay. So we're gonna go... I think I want to have a Flooded Strand here. Play the Flooded Strand. Play a Jace or a Teferi. If we play a Teferi, then he's inclined to go with the Phoenix, right? To not set up things. He's also inclined to do so under a Jace, of course. Actually, I already enjoyed this Teferi here. Pretty cool. So I guess we're just gonna get beaten up by that Phoenix here. And then we might just hold up mana for a bit in order to have... Okay. Would be amazing if our Teferi survived here, because then we could actually go Blast Zone 2 times a turn. Not just Rival, it's just an insane card. And a Faithless Looting as well. Let's see. We tick it up once. I mean, we need to get rid of that Pyromancer Ascension again. What happens? Oh my goodness. So with 7 mana, 4 up, we could draw a Cryptic Command, we could draw another Teferi, we could draw a Detention Sphere. We have actually quite a lot of really good draws here. But all of them That's more broken. Next turn we can go bounce the Jace and bounce the Arclight Phoenix and have Absorb up this turn. Like Blast Zone, despite being good, it's really slow, like really slow. I actually don't know if I would want to have 2 copies here in my main board. It gives you a little bit of extra utility, of course, so that's fine. Whoops. Celestial Purge is gonna come in. I think Dovin's Veto is also gonna come in, although that's a little bit more tricky. Okay, just looting. No Phoenix. So 4. We're losing a lot of card advantage here, but on the other hand, we're also bolstering our life total a little. Very possible that we need to counter that so that only 1 Arclight Phoenix comes back, and it's just so broken, guys. It's just so broken. It's like insanity. So we're gonna go after one of your lands, but not right now. Just so broken. Also, why aren't we drawing any Path to Exiles? No counterspell, well, 1 or 2 counterspells, yes, but no Snapcaster, no Path to Exile, no Remand, nothing. Of course. Oh my god. It's just such a retarded deck. Such a retarded deck. Insane. Alright. We're gonna get rid of all of our Snapcasters. Celestial, well, no, actually I so we somehow need to get the blasting station on 2 counters. Then we can focus these 2 on actually think that Blessing Station might be better in Grixis control than it is in blue-white control. We have to be a little careful of a Blood Moon. So this is quite interesting. He did not only not play a land, but now we're actually able to blast all of his stuff in one swoop, which is pretty good. All right. Actually, I'm just gonna do it now before anything bad happens. Blast Zone, people, is a good card. Man, when we can, like, we have outs against Pyroman's Ascension, that is actually awesome. Blast Zone, people, Blast Zone. See, this is how I imagine it. Like, this is the way it should be. I think Noxious Revival is probably the best card they can potentially have here. And deck. It could also, of course, always go with a Green Splash anyway. This is going to be a Fatal Suiting, I imagine, which we will not let resolve. And I guess Blast Zone is actually going to be really good for Ad Nauseam. Because they frequently have problems with like humans and stuff. And with Blast Zone you can just easily get rid of it. A couple of fogs, Blast Zone on 2. You have mana anyway due to the Mox, not Moxes, things. You know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. My goodness, this Pyromancer essentially is really annoying. Sad face. We don't want to shuffle this library necessarily. So he is going to flashback the looting, yep. I assume that he's also gonna go. There's one Arclight Phoenix. For one, it's not really worth it to do random stuff here. Otherwise, like if it had been like 2 or 3 with some shenanigans, then I might have been inclined to just play. Tap go. So our opponent's indicating here that he does not have any more basics. Which is pretty cool. Oh, Dovin's Veto. Coolio. Also, piss off. They are playing 4 Pyromancers essentially. Can you believe that? It's a freaking broken deck, people. It's a broken deck. So obviously, we're a little bit behind in terms of cards. I assume he's taken out the Crackling Drakes just so he can play with more Pyromancer Ascensions. Sure, don't care about the thing in the ice. And also don't care about a lightning bolts. So what we're going to do here is let that resolve, then we're going to go Snapcaster Mage, Cryptic Commands, return and tap all creatures, I believe.
turn this, tab rest. Check. Of course we were gonna draw another land. Good that I played it that way. And arrivederci. Gotta say though, I'm loving the blast zones. Gives you a certain degree of safety. Oh, certainly. Also, since we don't have anything like below, shit, fuck. We don't have any more basics to fetch anyway. Maybe we can bleed them out. It's possible that they actually don't have a crackling break whatsoever, and that his last win condition is actually the third thing in the eyes, or the fourth that he still has in hand. Plus that one misguided Arclight Phoenix that's still on the way. There it is. Surprise, surprise, motherfucker. Yeah, he doesn't have any more basics anyway, so fuck you. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, you know. We're drawing way too many lands. But what can you do? Alright. Finally conceded. Good job. I don't know, like, he's playing 4 Pyromancer Ascension, so he's basically all in on the graveyard plan, right? Could be bringing Blood Moon, of course. We have not seen any counter magic whatsoever. But I feel we don't necessarily need this. Could go with Jace and Supreme Verdict instead. Although Verdict is a little bit slow. Let's just keep it as tight as possible here. Alright, we gotta rest in peace. And the Dovin's Veto. And a Condemn. Sure. I want lands, people. Just lands. Alright, good games. Is it Phoenix player? Good games. Sad to see you go, motherfucker. Alright, games number 4. So yeah, if you really want to hate on Grixis, not Grixis, on Is It Phoenix, then play blue-white. Otherwise, stick with Grixis. If you want to
defeat the field and always lose to the top decks, then play Grixis. So just a second. Alright, we're back. We'd like to play first. Imperfect hand, but you can't have everything, I guess. Misty Rainforest. It's already something that my worst nightmares are out of, since we played the Super Friends deck there. What are you doing, opponent? What is going on here? Theoretically, our opponent could be on Walden's Reclamation Teachings, I think. Island. Yes, he is. Search for Scant. Alright, so we do have Field of Ruin to get rid of Surge. I think I'm gonna play the Snapcaster Mage out here. %, they have a Remand, and if they do have a Remand, then we might be running into a Wilderness Reclamation that we cannot get back from. Okay, has enough lands apparently. So Sphinx of Revelation might give us an out. 3 islands in the graveyard already. 4 basic forests? What the fuck is going on here? So that's Wilderness Reclamation, I assume. Yeah, counter draw, but we are not gonna get there because of a remount. And now exactly that happened. What was our worst nightmare? Of course, our remount is a little late here. He only got 3 blue sources though. That's worth a try. Yeah, now it's getting bonkers. Like, if you didn't have a second remand there, then we had been good. Probably. but now everything's gonna untap all of the time. Rites of Flourishing. Okay. Oh, Nexus of Fate. That is a surprise. Not really. Actually interesting. Let's see. We're gonna attack. Then we're gonna play the Teferi here. Cryptic. Sure. Now the question is, does he have another Wilderness Reclamation? If he does, then we probably lose to the Infinite Loop here. If he does not, then we might have a game. There are already a couple of games that, couple of cards, I mean. What? Cyclonic Rift? My goodness, what we're playing against here. Yeah, we're split it now. Yeah, I actually think I'm gonna make them do it. And the insane thing is, like, the stack's actually legal and standard. I'll give you a shortcut here. Alright, sorry people, I actually forgot that I was recording here. So we're back to round number 4, same opponent, who's apparently also playing Gemstone Caverns. What he doesn't know, it's legendary. So that was a little bit of something strange. So opponent, in the end, is on 1 card in hand, which is insane. Should have played an island here instead, though. Yeah, because we're probably getting punished by a Search for Scanta. Yes, we are. But we're still gonna win this for 100%. So since I don't think that, let's see what he does here. I actually don't think that our opponent does have anything for 3 mana that is relevant. So I'm just going to play out the Snapcaster Mage here, bring in a Blast Zone, although that's also going to kill our Snapcaster Mage, but anyway. He actually does have something for 3 mana, apparently. This one to the bottom. So let's see. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card, alright? Each player may play an additional land on each of their turns. I guess that would have been the only way to get back into the game here for him. Let's run back. We're gonna keep a little light on lands here. Well, we do have a Blast Zone and we do have a Spell Snare. Ramon's also pretty neat. Don't want to give him a mana advantage here. So we're just going to counter that. We're also going to get rid of that Watery Grave as time comes. So really bad for us would be if he cryptics his own thing. But no, he cryptics our thing. Which I'm kind of fine with. Yeah, we definitely want to have that. It will be good at some point. So if he does have a Spell Snare here, or a Spell Pierce, then we're pretty fucked. Otherwise, we just need lands. Land. That is not a land. Oh, we're just gonna chill. Up until we can do something. Well, Snapcaster Mage is at least something that we can do. Teferi's gonna go. Land is great. Nexus? Pull from tomorrow, sure. And I think he discarded the Nexus of Fate. So if we had one more mana, then we could just safely deploy the Teferi here. Otherwise, Teferi is really, really, really strong if it would remain on the battlefield just for one turn. But since we can't really X for X equaling 3. Okay. I guess it is for Teferi or Detention Sphere. We don't know. Let's see if we can just remand it here. Sure. You got it, friend. You got it. So it's still not the perfect scenario here, unless he really blows up that explosives. Because we wouldn't really be able to fight a counter war. No, too risky. I think our opponent now missed a land drop. So we're getting a little bit back on the mana train here. Although it's still not very good. We should have upped the blast zone last turn as well. Nexus of Fates. Nope. Don't think so. Now we can do it because of the Nexus of Fate. Actually, it's good that we didn't do it last turn because we would have also lost a bit of equity there. We cannot let it resolve. I also don't want him to have it in his hand though. Of course, he's trying to set up a situation where he can go Wilderness Reclamation and stuff, right? And there we go. Hopefully he doesn't have a second one. It's probably going to be a search for Scanza, which we will definitely bounce with our Teferi. We're gonna bounce it instead of detention sphering it here. Ah, fuck this shit. We just need mana. Just need mana here. So Wilderness Reclamation is not as important anymore. Yeah. Because he cannot use the mana end of turn here. Can we? Oh, thank you very much. So our things can't be countered anymore, which is pretty neat. I could have also played an additional land, but apparently we don't have that luxury. So now we get blown out completely out of the water if he has another. Okay. No way. How many Nexuses is he playing? Oh my goodness. Like for real? Do we get another turn or is this just over? Still has 7 mana up for another Nexus. Okay. So we might get a turn here. Do we? Okay. Yeah, our Celestial Knight would have done the job here. Man, strange games, strange games. And apparently 4 Nexus of Fate main. I always, you know, I'm always wondering, yes, it's good against a control deck, but against aggressive decks, what are you going to do? Like, he wasn't playing any removal spells. But I'm really impressed by Teferi. Really gotta say. A really, really good card. And now we're playing against a person that's called Chair. Keep. Ah, shit. Windswept Teeth already a bummer. With a hand such as ours. Temple Garden. Alright, we need to find removal fast. Remand is alright, since we can buy us a turn with that next turn. Nope. And again, we're just drawing insanely many lands here. So the Militia Bugler is actually quite good because it finds what they need quite well. It finds both a Vizier, it finds a Devoted Druid, it finds a Walking Ballista, so any of the combo pieces are being found. So obviously I would like to go and Cryptic this, and I think we are also able to do so just by the fact that the Militia Bugler is gonna resolve anyway. And we need to get ahead of cards here. Alright, pals are not bad. Voice of Resurgence. People are still playing that, huh? Right then. So at some point we have to deal with the Gavany Township. We also need to get rid of this Voice of Resurgence. I think I'm just gonna play the field in case nothing happens. And we have to go after the Gavany Township. And that is if he activates it. Night of Autumn. Right. And see how many actual basics our opponent's playing. I could go with another one, but I don't think the next is gonna help us a whole lot. Now we need to get rid of the knights. We're drawing way too many lands overall, and I'm not sure why. We're only playing 2 more lands than in Grixis. We're flooded basically every game. Just not the last one where we actually would have needed it. Fuck my life. Really insane. Like anything would have been good. We were able to play anything. Even no. Going all in on us. Walking with this in hand, I guess. We have 4 cards in hand. Super unlikely that all 4 are lands. Oh man. This is so insanely bad. Yeah, we wouldn't have won this with. I mean, if we don't draw cards here, Blaststone is actually quite good, but obviously we need to somehow get there. So this is alright. Absorb is okay. Teferi is not good. Jace is not good. This Teferi is okay. Definitely want to have more of these. Guess that. Zorb is going to go, and we're going to bring in timely reinforcements. Let's keep this weird mana base. Just because we have a ton of removal and if he has a couple of 1-drops, then our Blast Zone is going to be good. Although we probably don't want to. With Resurgence. Okay, and that's something that we need to get rid of before we do anything else. So So he could be going upkeep company here. Well, he would be able to do that anyway. Okay, it doesn't do it. So our either spell snare is gonna be good, or we can just tank blast zone. So our opponent's mana is awkward. Sin Collector. Sure. You got it, friend. Guess he's gonna take the timelies. Yeah, I mean, don't know what took him so long here. The Condemn is just medium good against this deck. I think I'm gonna play it anyway, just because of the potential that we have to get rid of Blast Zone at some point. And we're gonna take a couple of beats here. I don't even care. Of course, we cannot take up Blast Zone. That is annoying because of the detention sphere. Another bugler. Shit, fuck. My goodness. Alright then. Fear Ruin also quite annoying here. I actually think we're gonna sack the Blast Zone here because I don't want him to have the mana. And we have enough mana anyway. Now we're talking. Finally we get a card. So this should be a Militia Bugler again. Can put that on top because we have Snapcaster and can Flashback Cryptic. Teferi is also not bad, but not right now. Yes. Alright. We still have a Spell Snare, and we also draw another card. Sin Collector. Kinda have to use that. really like the Teferi. Gotta say, really like it. Another blast zone. So the last time he went out of his way in order to get rid of it. So we're gonna put it on top. The good thing is, like, he has to do stuff in his turn now. That's just gonna be snap spell snare. Actually, no. Why would it be? Why would it be? Counter and troll. Sure. Bugler. Nope. I mean, in theory, we can play it in his turn, which is pretty nice. But that will require further setup. So, let's see. If he doesn't attack here to protect his... Well, if he attacks, then that's all obsolete anyway. No, I'm just going to utilize the blast zone in case that comes up. If he wants to use this for value, that's fine by me. I'm not going to go Supreme Verdict for one creature here. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Knight of the Relinquary. Let's play something. Perfect. Play more. Yes, yes, perfect. Oh, have you ever been hit by a Supreme Verdict on instant speed? No? Thanks. Oh man, guys, this is so much fun. Teferi is stupid strong. Yeah, no. Counter. Detention Sphere, we can't play. Sure. I wanted to bounce something anyway. We have Blast Zone as well, but that's our last resort. Probably not go after that one. Oh, I should have paid attention here. Cryptic, and we're just gonna play counter bounce. Because of the Supreme Verdict.
Eternal Witness. Strong play. It's really hard for me to differentiate between the Teferis. Like, I was close to, I think we bore the other one out, right? No. I was like really happy to see it, and then I was like, oh, all right, that's that one actually. Yeah, no. There we go. So now I want to bounce our own Snapcaster Mage, play this one, play Teferi, take up Teferi. Oh guys, it's awesome. It is beautiful. So we might... Condemn is actually not a good card here, I'm not gonna lie. I think I would want to have one maximum. So I think our opponent's playing, I was gonna say entirely without 1-drops, but apparently that's not the case. Devoted Druid. So company, and we have a problem. Okay. Yes, so so let's see. We do not have Supreme Verdict next turn unless we go Field of Ruin here now for white source, and then we have to get rid of the Devoted Druid, right? No, we don't necessarily. I'm just gonna pass the turn. If he does have the combo here, then we do have a problem. I want to condemn it, but that seems to be a little bit too risky. So then the next question becomes, okay, give any township. Sure.
Can we die on the spot? I'm actually not sure. I hope not. All right. There's a walking ballista. Wait. I think we want to go after that one anyway. Here I should not have gone after a white source, but a blue source was a little bit quick on that one. So now it's alright. So you can pump it for 2 if he wants to. Okay. Okay. So by itself, a Vizier of Remedies is not too critical. So 1-2 we want for that. And he should not be able to just straight up win this turn. Unless he has something that gives haste. Which I guess is not very likely. Don't really want that right now. Cryptic was what I was looking for. So now we can actually raise him, or try to raise him at least. That's a core of calling, of course. For x equaling 3. I would assume that that's just a like witness or something. Yep. creature instant. 0/0. Alright, so everything dies. How happy he is to get rid of our land because we found the combo. Alright, so we're gonna attack. Sure. And I think that's GG. Yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the leak. Was a little better than the one with Grixis in the morning. Teferi is the real deal. It's really not only fun to play with, but also really strong. The rest of the composition here is not really there. We need to get rid of Absorb. This really fucks me up though. Thank you. Detention Sphere is okay, but it also doesn't really profit as much from Teferi. So I would probably disregard the Detention Sphere to the sideboard, since under a Teferi, Sphinx's Revelation is not counterable. That is pretty good still. And then the Remands are just not good. And Condemn is also not a card that I would actually want to play, but overall, it was a fun game, a fun league. And Blast Zone has also proven to be quite good at times, not all the time, but wasn't too bad. And our opponent had to play around it a couple of times. So that's nice. Dovin's Veto might actually be good for the main board as well. But then I would figure you can't play Blast Zone. 6 colorless sources is just too much of a hassle for the most part. Blast Zone, on the other hand, though, makes it really difficult for prison strategies that are not running Blood Moon as well. Like War Prison and stuff, because you just blow up everything with land. So yeah, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and see you soon, guys.